Here we go. Ain't made a video in a while. Had a lot of stuff going on. Still do. This video here, I've been thinking about all this, and I've got two guys called me quite a bit about becoming an owner-operator. The one guy's a company driver, the other guy's leased on with Hirschbach as a lease operator. There's a lot of stages in trucking, you know. They're both saying they want to be an owner-operator, but they're still leased to companies. There's a lot of fees and stuff that a lot of these guys don't even think about. Like the the company drivers, you know, they just they hear some of these blowhards out there about how much money they're making. A lot of these so-called owner-operators out here that are saying they're making so much money, I hear a lot of guys with Landstar saying they're making buku bucks, you know, $4 a mile, $5 a mile. Some of them guys are open deck, oversized dimensions, heavy haul. But what they don't tell you is they set a whole bunch. They might be getting $6 a mile for a 700-800 mile run. Then they set it for 2 or 3 days. Then if you're like with Landstar, in the case of you're pulling a van, it's spot market type setup with their own load board. That's the only load board you as a lease owner, you know, you leased onto them. That's all you're going to find. It's right there on their board. No negotiate, no nothing. That's the price. That's it. They hype it up a whole bunch, you know, how many loads they have. Landstar has a bad habit of not taking loads off the board that they've already, kind of like the regular boards, DAT or Truck Stop. You know, the brokers don't take them off like they should. But in the case of this Landstar deal, they purposely don't take them off because they want their numbers high, and that's a lot of the reason they, if they regularly get these 4 loads at this time frame every week or every month, they'll put them on there and just change the dates on them from month to month. Maybe they'll get them, maybe they won't. But they put them on there to drive the number of loads on their board for advertising, for recruiting purposes. When we was over there, some of these loads you call on, they say, oh, well, get on the list, and we'll go down the list. Somebody else doesn't want it, and you're on the next on the list, we'll call you. We never did that. We didn't stay there that long. If I'm gonna be on a board, on a spot market deal, I might as well be over on a real spot market that I can really negotiate my rate. We run both Truck Stop, Internet Truck Stop, and DAT. Sometimes there's loads on one that's not on the other. That's why we run both. But sometimes they're on both boards. Sometimes they might be on both boards, but with different brokers with different prices. You know, so we kind of look at that. But back to these guys wanted to become owner operators, and the reason I said the example Landstar is no matter what stage you're in of wanting to become an owner operator, you really got to watch stuff like that. There's a lot of companies out there. Landstar might work great for somebody. But in my opinion, to go from Joe Blow off of dat board or truck stop over to them, it looks real good running the numbers that they throw at you, and to kind of look at their load board because you don't understand. But once you get in there, and it don't matter what the name is. It could be Joe Blow. If that's how they got it set up, it's not that good. But research, education, and ego. Educate yourself and don't let ego drive you. Don't let ego put you into position too early to screw yourself. Never do that. Just like this old boy from Hirschback, he's wanting to have his own truck because it's a lease. It'll never be his, and he was wanting to jump ship kind of early. Like go to a different company until he was ready. I had to talk him down off that ledge because, like I explained to him, your revenue is down a little bit, but no matter where you go right now, because of this COVID-19 and the rates and everything lower, your volume is down a little bit. Hirschback, heck, they got a good freight base, so you're better off just, because you could go to another big company, they're going to be in the same situation where you're in. And like I explained to him, jumping ship to this big company to this big company, or to a smaller one or a even bigger one or what have you, it doesn't much matter. Like I was telling him, he's going to be hurting himself in the long run by doing that, because he's going to walk away from Hirschback and go over here to this other company. And like I was telling him, you're going to lose a week or more of revenue by doing that. And once you get over there, you're going to lose even more revenue because the person that's going to be dispatching you doesn't know how you run, doesn't know where you're going to like to run, and they're going to have 15, 20 other trucks. So for them to actually concentrate on you all the time, it's going to take time. So he's better off, or you, whoever, wanting to jump ship, don't do it. Right now is not the time to jump ship to another company to be in the same situation. You're actually hurting yourself more because you're going to have that time that you're not working at all for anybody, and then going over there to that orientation. And then, depending on how much experience you have, you might have to ride with somebody. So now you're making even less revenue, because they might pay you a straight salary for a week or whatever, to make sure you can do the job. Or you're going to be down in money per mile, because now you're new to them. And then on top of that, once you do get in the truck and they start running you, like I said, they aren't going to know how you run, the areas you run. So you're losing money there. It's just a lose-lose situation. If things pick up, yeah, go ahead and jump ship if you need to. if the your revenue doesn't come back up uh, with the load volume and the rates coming up, which the rates haven't went up yet. Load volumes have went up a little bit because of uh, in part because of the automotive industries starting to come back in, and you got those guys that were hauling your stuff. Now they're back to hauling their own stuff. Um, Even with me in the reefer business, there's a lot of those automotive guys that were renting uh, trailers from these dealerships, like Jim Hawk Trailer. They rent those used trailers they got there all the time. Um, there was a trailer. I think it was what last week. I went in to go look at because I seen it online, and I couldn't look at it because somebody was renting it. Uh, but the automotive industry is opening up, so now there's even some guys that came over to the refrigerated side, um, hoping they were going to do better. Well, all they ended up doing was saturating the market even worse than it was, driving the rates down even farther. But um, as a company driver, or like in this case, this guy with the Hirschback, I stress and I stress and I stress. Um, Learn everything you can. Uh, there's a lot of fees and stuff, your IFTA and all this stuff. Um, Being leased on to somebody, uh, like in the case of the Hirschback guy, a lot of that stuff is just the a lot of those fees that they charge you. It just comes out of your settlement. And if you aren't paying attention to them and what they are, um, you're going to get hit with uh, fees that you don't understand or you don't know. Uh, when you get your own truck and then you end up leasing on to somebody. Um, Doing a lease from a company and then leasing on to somewhere else, there's going to be a lot of similarities. Where a lot of guys get screwed up is they move from the company driver over to the lease, and they ain't thinking about all this stuff. They don't understand. They just ego has drove them, and they've listened to talking points of other drivers that don't think about a lot of that stuff either. And if they did, it's like the 550, the 2290 heavy highway tax, $550 per year. Um, I can't count how many guys, including myself. That's one expense that I overlooked when I got in, is that 2290. Um, Not one person, and I talked to actual owner operators with their own numbers, and there's a lot of aspects of this business that a lot of owner operators don't tell you. Um, just slips their mind or what? I don't know. Um, and then there's some guys I talk to that they're going to go right from company driver to owner operator running your own authority, and unless you really do your research and you know each and every one of those fees and everything, um, I wouldn't advise that. Um, at least if you're leasing on to somebody, like, I wish we would have found the F2F out of Chattanooga, F2F transport, a lot earlier than what we did. We learned quite a bit on booking of loads and little fees and stuff. Um, in that case, there it doesn't matter what company you lease onto, as long as they're forthwith on a lot of stuff, and you can call and you can talk to them, they'll give you their information. But when you're getting this information, absorb it. Don't just let it go right over your head. And if you don't understand something, stop. Get a clarification on this stuff. Need to get notes. Heck, there's Google. Google the hell out of it. There's a lot of people that'll help. But right now, everybody I'm talking to that wants to get into this business right now, first and foremost, I just tell them don't do it. Keep doing what you're doing. Put money back. Two of the biggest problems that we ran into is one, first and foremost, I had a 1750 month truck payment, which really wasn't that bad. But what I ended up doing is three companies. I went to three companies that weren't paying that good. I didn't have a trailer at the time, and some of my expenses were taken care of because I leased onto them, which was good. But that 1750, along with my maintenance, that maintenance was a bigger problem than 1750 a month, because, well, let me put the rewind. Between the maintenance, and how he was handling it, the 1750, and our revenue. The one place with fuel surcharge, and they only paid on loaded miles for fuel surcharge, $1.14 to $1.20, depending on what the fuel surcharge was that week or what have you, which ain't good when you put into account maintenance, truck payment, and then everything at the house. You can't forget, it's not just a truck. Yeah, you got to know what all your bills and everything is for the truck and what it costs you to operate it. But you got to worry about the house. You got everything over there. So your revenue coming in is a huge issue. We had enough, but then when you start calculating in, repairs and tires, services, oil services, and everything, roughly $300. Could be a few bucks less, could be a few bucks more, but I've done a lot of my services myself, but if it was raining out or it's too damn cold, I live in Iowa, that, 20 degrees out, doing it in a parking lot, it just, yeah, this ain't gonna work. But when you do your maintenance, if you're putting it on a credit card or whatever, that's where we messed up. We didn't mess up by putting it on a credit card. We messed up by not paying it like we should have. We like when you get the money to fix your truck from the company you're leased to, they mandate that you have it done within paid off within a month or so. 4, 5, 6, 8 payments. 9 payments. Whatever they'll allow you to do. And that's the hole we got ourselves into. We put it on a card or put it on like a revolving credit type deal. I think that's what they call it. And had we paid it like we was doing with the company, we've been all right. But like everybody, stuff happens. Stuff happens at the house. Water heater goes out. You know, like in just a week or two ago, my transmission went out in my pickup. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? So my advice to a lot of guys is, like these two guys that calls me all the time, I keep pushing. The one guy's got over 10 grand put back. And I tell him, use that money and buy a truck where you can have it paid off pretty quick. You, with these times, you really shouldn't get yourself over. Um, don't don't buy a truck. Don't let your ego buy your truck. Educate yourself. Buy your truck with that. Um, Educate yourself. Figure out where you're at and where you want to be. There is a lot of guys out here struggling. Um, don't put yourself in that same boat. Keep putting that money back. Sitting here in the TA waiting to get loaded tomorrow. You guys have a good day. I'm going to leave this video here. If you like it, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, by God. I'll quit rambling for today. Hopefully that was helpful. Next time I'll make it more structured and I won't be all over the place. You guys have a good one.